So there are a number of dynasties that were able to retain some ancestral arms within the family, but often moved around. It's not in its original location. If you go to Vienna, you will see some remains of the imperial armory of the Habsburgs, but even that is actually partially a collection. It's partially items that also came from other places, from Prague, some of the objects were formerly in Amras and have been moved there. Some of them even come in Brussels. And this is the only place that has retained the ancestral armory in place, and also that goes back way beyond the Renaissance, but into the Middle Ages. Medieval armor was valuable. It could be recycled easily as the metal could be reshaped. And generally speaking, if you look around us, it looks crowded. It would take too much room, and there would always be at some point a purge, sort of cleanup operation. In the 18th century, many armories got rid of what they had. The Napoleonic Wars also led to French occupation, which meant both the French generals and the marshals who brought things back to France, and then these things were sold on the open market, and then made it to England, and then later some of it to the United States. And then on the other hand, a lot of the items were also simply let out because some political regimes came to an abrupt end as a result of the Napoleonic Wars. So families, estates were confiscated. There would be resources would not be there to continue even after the regime would be put back in place. And so this is the castle where you see the objects that have always been here. Now the space in which we are is actually a reconstruction or a creation by Count Oswald Trapp, who was a scholar, and who in 1929 published a very influential catalog of this armory, which was translated by the curator of the Tower of London called James Mann. Ever since, this place is the Jerusalem of anybody interested in medieval and Renaissance European arms and armor. Because the objects, aside from replacement of leather straps, organic things that have to decay, everything is in its historical condition with limited or no restorations. Many of the items retain their original textiles, some of them dating from the 14th century, but the original textiles are still in place. And we know who they own those armors. They can be attributed pretty clearly. Now, every major lineage had more than one castle, more than one property. And so some of the items that are here were not originally Coburg, but possibly from other castles belonging to the match, and then also to the Trapp family. So that explains the black and white armors that you see in rows over there are serial armors made in large numbers for infantry, for professional soldiers, mercenaries, but not for the nobility. And while some of them were made for the retainers of the Count's Trapp, but they would not be kept in a separate army. They would not be kept in the ancestral army, and they were brought here at some point as perhaps the properties needed to be repaired, or because it just made sense to centralize everything and to have better watch on the items. I know from correspondence that Kienbusch had with Count Oswald Trapp that he visited Coburg a lot. Kienbusch bequeathed his collection to us. That he witnessed even sometimes the repair of some of the items by members of the family, because he had to restitch sometimes the original textile and so forth. So among the most important items that you can see here are the objects dating from before 1500. They're extraordinarily rare. There's not a single complete armor in existence from before 1400, and the closest approximation, that some elements are missing, are in this room. So looking for it, it's standing here. And I have to stress how important armor was both as a functional object that we worn for tournament and war, but how important it was also as a way of situating oneself in high society. And so when you look at representation of noblemen who did not embrace a career in the clergy, they're always represented wearing armor, almost always.